Hello everyone, I'm Nick from nextstepnick.com and today we're going to talk about Hidden Through Time. So, this is basically Where's Wally, or Where's Waldo if you're in America, but with moving items through all different time periods, and I thought that was kind of cool. It was really sweet. I really like this art style as well, this kind of really innocent art style, and there's some really good things in here. It is very fun. I've got a few concerns, but for the most part, it's okay. I mean, one of my concerns, well, I'll let you find out. I'm going to fade my music out and let their music come in here. So, I thought this was kind of sweet. You know, we're going through this environment and saying, okay, we need to find, for example, this little spear, this chicken leg and this egg. And it will give you a clue as to where they are. And when it's this kind of size, it's kind of fun. It's like Where's Wally? When Where's Wally is one page, it's kind of fun. But do you know how you always felt that over 2 pages there was a bit too much? Yeah, there's a lot of that. And the problem is this music's kind of cute. Problem is that music is the same the whole way through. One of the things that I think they could do here is really mix that up and put in some different music, a different soundtrack for each era, because you'll see we'll move through times. And I just like different music variation, really. It's a bit samey. In regard to the actual game itself, I really like some of the features in here. There's an ability to make your own, so you can make your own map, you can put your own items in there, your own different things to find, different characters. You can map where they move as well. I thought that was really sweet and it gives this real replayability to the game. It's especially good for if you've got, for example, younger children, or if you're playing like a family style game, or you're playing with friends even, to be honest. Making something really difficult would be kind of fun. But the problem is that it's a bit like Where's Wally in general. If you give me a Where's Wally book and say, yeah, go to town, have fun, yeah, I guess I will, but for the most part, I'll just end up sort of scanning through a couple and then getting bored. I mean, let's be honest, Where's Wally works because there's about 3 different things to find. Primarily, you're looking for one guy. With this, a lot of the objects you're looking for kind of fit the period anyway, so the clues you get really help out, but for the most part, you just end up a bit bored. It can be a bit daunting. I mean, when you've got a medium-sized map like the one you can see there, it's not too bad. But when you're going to the larger maps, especially, when it's a huge map with lots going on, it can just be way too much. There can be so much going on. I mean, you can see characters walking around, things in bushes, things in trees, just loads and loads of stuff. You've got to zoom in, scroll out, and it's too much. I think the smaller maps work a lot better. And I feel like when you're mixing through the different time periods, it's a lot more fun, you know? When you're in the Stone Age for a little bit, that's great, and then you move into Egypt, that's great. Then you go into sort of a more medieval setting, that's really cool as well. The problem is, though, is that you have 5 or 6 different maps for each era. So for the Stone Age, for example, you get small, slightly bigger, medium, slightly bigger, large, and massive. And the problem with that is, you just get a bit bored, because bear in mind the music doesn't change and the objects you're looking for kind of fit the time period. They're not out of place or kooky or wacky, and yeah, there's a little bit of comedy in regard to the descriptions, but for the most part, you're just clicking where stuff is. It's a good game, it's a fun thing, and you can tell there's a bit of love here. I really like the character movements and just the actual little stories behind the items. But I'd like to see a bit more creativity with it, really. I'd like to see it go a bit further. Maybe objects like in this was probably the closest, this map here, to what I'd like to see. Because there were items that didn't match this time period that were kind of comical. And you had to click on different stones to basically unlock what was inside them. And there was stuff like phones and different little fun things that weren't meant to fit in that period. And that made it fun and enjoyable. But at the same time, when you've got to scroll over a map of this size, it feels a bit daunting. Especially if you've done 3 or 4 of these, you end up a bit, oh god, you know, I've got this much room to go through, I've got this many things to look for. It can seem a bit too much. I don't know why that is, because I do like a challenge and I like difficult games, but I think what it is that there's a lot going on that you've got to focus on at once. You know there's no real narrative per se, and on top of that, you know the things you're looking for kind of fit in anyway. The colour palettes are kind of muted. So there's no vibrant colours, you know, I mean, you've got what you've got, but, you know, it's very much, okay, the grass is this colour and things are kind of pasted on top, and it's fine, it's functional and it's fun. It's just I'd like to see it engage more with that wacky side. When I first saw that I received a code for this, and again, thank you very much for the code, I really appreciate it, but when I first received a code for this, I was quite excited at the idea of it being this wacky, kind of comical thing. I mean, when I was a kid, I don't know about everyone else watching this, the 2 of you that are watching this, but when I grew up, especially in the classroom, we used to have interactive screens. This was when computers were first coming in, to be honest. And if you were good, you got a chance to go on the computer. I'm going to rant about this now, it's something completely different. But if you were good, you had to go on this computer. And what you could do is you would click on this scenario and, you know, you'd click on some rockets and they'd fly off, or you'd click on a bird and it would quack, and all sorts of stuff like that. You know, the kind of thing that you had as a kid where it's kind of wacky and it doesn't do a lot and it's basically just colour, movement and noise, but as a kid you think this is the best thing ever. That's what I like from this. I like the fact you can click on the dinosaurs and they can make a noise and stuff like that. But when the map is this large and they're not really animated, you know, they jump around, they do what they're doing, but you clicking on them makes no difference. I'd like it to be that, say, you know, you click on a dinosaur, yeah, it makes a roaring noise, it makes a roaring noise now, but I'd like to see it sort of raise its head, that kind of thing. Or, you know, when you click on a villager, maybe they do like a little dance, or just something to make it a bit more interactive. There's no reason why you can't just go around to click on everything going, yep, 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 yep. And after you've done about 4 of these, it's a bit much. It takes a fair bit of concentration to just sort of focus and just really look round. And when the map is this large, it's just a bit daunting. I did enjoy my time with it, don't get me wrong, and I had a really good time for the most part with this. I think it's one of those games that, especially if you take advantage of the map creator, you could do some really fantastic stuff. And I think Hidden Through Time has got a really nice base here for more, but I'd like to see it engage more with that wacky side. I'd like to see it grow a bit more. I'd like to see more, and I know that's more work, and I know it's a bit of a pain, but I'd like to see more animation and more noise and more different soundtracks, you know, really engage with those periods, make the music match those periods, maybe a little bit of flavour, but all in all, it's a fun little game, and the creator itself is pretty fun as well, so I'd say give it a look, most definitely. Anyway, that was Hidden Through Time. Thank you very much for tuning in, guys. Please don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and hopefully I'll catch you again very soon.